Barron Trump, the youngest son of former President Donald Trump, has mostly stayed out of the spotlight, despite growing up in one of the most famous families in the world. Unlike many high-profile children, Barron has maintained a low-key presence, leaving people curious about his life behind the scenes. Recently, conservative commentator Mark Levin shared some eye-opening thoughts about Barron that many hadn't considered. Levin pointed out how Barron, despite the media frenzy around his family, has largely been overlooked. What could the world be missing about this young Trump? Join us as we uncover more about Barron's life and personality that many don't know. The quiet rise of Barron Trump. Barron William Trump was born on March 20, 2006 in New York City, to Donald Trump and Melania Trump. His dad is well known as a real estate tycoon and former president of the United States, while his mother, Melania, gained fame as a model. Barron was their only child together, making him Donald's youngest son. He's a little different from his older half-siblings, and that's partly because he's had a unique upbringing. Growing up in Trump Tower in Manhattan, Barron had an entire floor to himself. Yes, an entire floor as his playground. His mother, Melania, has always been a hands-on mom. She once shared that Barron loved planes and helicopters when he was little, so she would make sure to fill his days with things that excited him. She also made breakfast for him and packed his lunches. Like any creative kid, he even drew on the walls sometimes. But Melania wasn't bothered. She encouraged his creativity, telling Parenting magazine, "If he draws on the walls, we just paint over it." It's clear that Barron had a childhood filled with imagination and support, but what many don't know is that Barron is bilingual. Thanks to his mother, who is from Slovenia, he speaks both English and Slovene fluently. He's also picked up a bit of French along the way, showing how diverse his interests are. Melania has shared that Barron has his own style, preferring clean white spaces and showing impressive skills when building things like cities out of Lego bricks. His love for building and creating was nurtured from a young age, and his mom would often say he's very much like his father, Donald Trump. She even calls him Little Donald, because, like his dad, he knows exactly what he wants. A unique family dynamic. Barron is the youngest of 5 siblings, but his relationship with them is unique. His older half-siblings, Don Jr., Ivanka, Eric, and Tiffany, are much older than him, with age gaps ranging from 13 to 29 years. So while he technically has siblings, he grew up more like an only child. His siblings were adults while he was still a kid, so he didn't experience the typical brother-sister dynamic. Even with Tiffany, who's closer in age, the two didn't really share childhood experiences, since Tiffany lived on the West Coast with her mom, Marla Maples. Interestingly, Barron became an uncle when he was just a baby himself. His nieces and nephews, like Kai Trump and Arabella Kushner, are closer to his age than his older siblings are. Barron's family tree is full of big names, but despite that, he has remained relatively private. His parents, especially Melania, worked hard to keep him out of the public eye, even as the Trump family became more and more famous. This privacy has allowed Barron to grow up in a way that's different from his siblings, who have all been in the spotlight for years. Speaking of which, Melania has always been vocal about her son's unique traits, describing him as strong-minded and independent. She often pointed out how Barron spent quality time with his father, especially at their Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. Golfing with Donald or having family dinners were regular events, and despite the Trump family's busy life, Barron managed to hold on to some normalcy, the White House years. In 2016, when Donald Trump was elected president, Barron's life took a big turn. Suddenly, he went from living a somewhat private life in New York to being the son of the U.S. president. But his transition to Washington, D.C. wasn't immediate. For the first 5 months of his father's presidency, Barron stayed in New York with his mom so he could finish school. The two finally moved to the White House in June 2017, making Barron the first boy to live there since John F. Kennedy Jr. in the early 1960s. Living in the White House brought new experiences, but Barron remained mostly out of the spotlight. He was often seen at public events like the annual Easter egg roll, or when his dad pardoned turkeys before Thanksgiving. But for the most part, he stayed behind the scenes. One memorable event was when he and his mom received the official Christmas tree for the White House, a rare moment where Barron was front and center. Barron also faced a personal challenge in 2020 when he tested positive for COVID-19. Melania later shared that he initially tested negative but later showed a positive result, though he didn't have any symptoms. Reflecting on that time, Melania said, "In one way, I was glad the three of us went through this at the same time so we could take care of one another." Thankfully, Barron recovered quickly and the family moved forward. Despite growing up in one of the most famous political families in the world, Barron has managed to stay grounded. His parents, especially Melania, have been instrumental in protecting him from the intense scrutiny that comes with being a Trump. As Melania once shared, he's a strong teenager with his own interests. Barron's journey is far from typical, but it's clear he has been able to navigate his unique life with resilience and quiet strength. Life after the White House. After leaving the White House in January 2021, Barron Trump's life changed significantly. He moved with his parents, Donald and Melania Trump, to their family estate at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. By August 2021, it was announced that Barron had enrolled at Oxbridge Academy, a private school in Palm Beach. He joined the class of 2024, and on May 17, 2024, both of his parents attended his graduation ceremony. This transition into a new phase of life didn't come without public interest. With his high school years behind him, Barron is now focused on his next big step, college. According to his father, Barron applied to several schools and was accepted everywhere. "He's very sought after," Donald Trump said, expressing how proud he was of his youngest son's academic achievements. Though Barron has kept his college plans under wraps for a while, it's clear that he's carefully considering his future. Interestingly, a source close to the family mentioned that Melania Trump might even move with Barron to wherever he decides to study, reflecting the close bond between mother and son. Melania has always been protective of Barron, making sure he is well guarded from the media spotlight. And as Barron continues to make big decisions, it seems Melania will remain a key figure in his life. But did you know that Barron's 18th birthday in March 2024 brought up a lot of discussion in the media about how he should be covered now that he's an adult? Navigating public attention. Some felt that because he was no longer a minor, it would be fair for the press to show more interest in his life. However, Chelsea Clinton, the daughter of former President Bill Clinton, quickly came to Barron's defense. She firmly stated that Barron should be left alone by the media, saying, "I think he's a private citizen. I feel so strongly that if you are a private citizen, you have an unimpeachable right to privacy." Her words added an important perspective to the debate about public figures' children and their right to privacy. Despite the attention surrounding him, Barron continues to avoid the spotlight. In May 2024, there was news that Barron had been chosen as a delegate for the Florida delegation at the Republican National Convention. Many saw this as his first step into politics. But just days after the announcement, Melania's office revealed that Barron had declined the offer due to prior commitments. This decision only added to Barron's air of mystery, as many wondered what those commitments could be. Still, it was clear that Barron was charting his own course, away from the expectations of those around him. Later, in July 2024, Barron made a rare appearance at one of his father's campaign rallies. This marked a significant moment as Barron had largely stayed away from public political events. What made this even more intriguing was the growing influence of Barron among younger voters, with reports crediting him and conservative influencer Bo Loudon for helping Donald Trump's campaign reach a younger audience. Barron's quiet yet impactful presence in these moments hints at the influence he could wield in the future. Personal details about Barron and his hobbies. One of the first things people often notice about Barron Trump is his height. At 6 feet 7 inches tall, Barron towers over both of his parents. His father has humorously attributed Barron's height to the cooking of his late grandmother, Amelia Noves, Melania's mother. Donald even joked during a campaign event that Barron should pursue basketball. "I said you're going to be a basketball player," he said. "Well, I like soccer, Dad, actually," Donald remarked with a hint of amusement. It turns out Barron has always been more of a soccer fan, showing his independence in choosing his own path, even when it comes to sports. Barron has been passionate about soccer for years. Back in 2017, during the White House Easter egg roll, Barron was spotted wearing an Arsenal FC jersey and later met DC United players. Later that same year, Barron joined DC United's U12 Development Academy team for the 2017 to 2018 season. By 2019, he was playing with the Arlington Soccer Association, demonstrating that his interest in soccer wasn't just a passing hobby, but a real passion. But there are other details not many know about him. He has been a target for unnecessary jokes. Despite being just a child during much of his father's presidency, Barron Trump often found himself the target of jokes and criticism. Late-night shows and internet trolls didn't hold back when it came to mocking him, simply because of who his father is. One notable incident happened in 2017, shortly after Donald Trump's inauguration. A writer for Saturday Night Live tweeted a distasteful joke, suggesting Barron would be the first homeschool shooter. The backlash was immediate, and the writer was suspended for her comment. Barron also faced criticism for things as trivial as his clothing choices. Some believed that, as the president's son, he should dress the part when stepping out in public. But it's important to remember that Barron didn't ask for the spotlight. As both Chelsea Clinton and Jenna Bush Hager pointed out, Barron deserves the chance to grow up without being constantly judged or ridiculed. Clinton even took to social media, calling for the media to leave Barron alone, stressing that he should be allowed to have a private childhood. His life was under constant watch. As the son of the president, Barron had to adjust to a life filled with security. Having personal security guards might have been something he was used to, but being followed everywhere by the Secret Service is a different experience. Once Donald Trump became the Republican presidential nominee, Barron's security detail only intensified. Wherever he went, Secret Service agents were always close by, ensuring his safety. When Barron attended Oxbridge Academy in Palm Beach, Florida, the school's headmaster even sent a letter to other parents, informing them that Secret Service agents would be present on school grounds daily. It wasn't just a precaution. It was a necessary part of Barron's life. Though former presidents' children are typically protected until they turn 16, Barron continued to have Secret Service agents watching over him beyond that age, especially with his father's continued political career. This constant surveillance may have been necessary, but it surely affected Barron's ability to live a normal life. Even as a teenager, he couldn't attend school or go out without someone in a suit keeping a watchful eye. As much as the Trumps tried to keep his life private, this level of protection was a constant reminder of the public role he was thrust into from a young age. He faced a terrifying threat. Unfortunately, being the son of a former president also made Barron a target for much more serious threats. In August 2023, a woman named Tracy Fiorenza was arrested after threatening to kill both Donald Trump and Barron. Fiorenza sent a disturbing letter to the headmaster of Barron's school, stating that she planned to shoot Donald Trump Sr. and Barron Trump straight in the face. It's unclear how much Barron knew about the threat or how it impacted him personally, but such an event highlights just how dangerous his life can be. Thankfully, authorities acted quickly, and Fiorenza was charged with transmitting threats to kill or injure. People from all sides of the political spectrum were quick to condemn the threat, emphasizing that no matter what someone thinks of Donald Trump, threatening his child is unacceptable. As one Reddit user put it, his son, a minor no less, he is off limits. These kinds of threats serve as a reminder that being a part of the Trump family isn't just about fame and fortune. It also comes with risks. For Barron, this means navigating a world where his safety is a constant concern. Despite these challenges, Barron seems to be doing well, but the world will always be watching to see how he handles the pressures that come with being a Trump. As of September 2024, Barron has taken another major step in his life, starting college. Barron's college journey begins. In fact, Barron is now starting an exciting new chapter, college life. After graduating from Oxbridge Academy in Florida in May 2024, Barron has officially enrolled at New York University, NYU, where he's attending the Stern School of Business. His father proudly shared the news, calling NYU a great school and praising Barron's intelligence. "He's a very smart guy," Donald Trump said, clearly proud of his son's academic journey. Despite starting this new phase of life, Barron is taking a unique approach to college. Instead of living on campus like most freshmen, he's commuting from Trump Tower, the family's luxurious home in Manhattan. Melania, in a recent interview, shared that Barron made the decision to stay at home while attending college, and she fully supports him. "I could not say I'm an empty nester," she explained, making it clear that Barron's choice to live at home is a comfortable one for both mother and son. As Barron starts his studies at NYU, many are curious about how he'll navigate this new environment. But it's safe to say that whether on the soccer field or in the business school, Barron is ready to carve his own path. But in July this year, Barron Trump had a tennis lesson he'll never forget. Shocking revelation from Donald Trump's recent assassination scare. While practicing on the court, someone ran up to him with news no child ever wants to hear. "Your father's been shot." In a recent interview with Fox News' Mark Levin, Donald Trump recalled the moment his youngest son learned about the assassination attempt. Barron was in the middle of his tennis lesson when everything changed. His immediate reaction? He ran to his mother, Melania, in sheer panic, asking her what had happened. At that time, Melania was watching the live coverage of Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania, where the shooting took place. The shooter, Matthew Crooks, fired a shot that grazed Donald's ear, but thankfully, no serious harm was done. Trump later described the situation as nothing short of a miracle, crediting divine intervention for saving him from what could have been a fatal shot. He shared with the audience how Barron, who deeply loves his father, was overwhelmed with fear at that moment. It's a rare glimpse into the personal side of the Trump family that people rarely see. The incident wasn't just hard on Barron. Melania, too, was shaken by the experience, struggling to talk about it afterward. "She said she can't even talk about it, which is okay because that means she likes me," Donald Trump joked in his typical fashion, trying to lighten the mood during the interview. It's clear that the assassination attempt had a lasting impact on the Trump family, and especially on Barron, who had to process the terrifying news at such a young age. While Barron might have faced a frightening experience with his father's assassination scare, his life didn't stop there. The first steps into public life. Barron Trump has always been somewhat of a mystery. He's managed to stay out of the spotlight for most of his life, despite being part of one of the most famous families in the world. But now, as a freshman at NYU, he's starting to step into the public eye a bit more. His recent appearances alongside his father at campaign events have sparked a lot of interest. Many wonder if Barron will follow in his father's footsteps in politics. Earlier this year, Barron was invited to be a delegate for the Republican National Convention, a sign that people are starting to see him as more than just the quiet Trump. Interestingly, Barron declined the invitation, citing prior commitments. This decision only deepened the curiosity surrounding him. What could those commitments be? And why has Barron stayed so private for so long? Despite the constant media attention around his family, Barron has remained largely out of the spotlight, until now. With his college days starting, we're beginning to see more of him in public, and it's clear that Barron is becoming more comfortable in his role as a young adult. His mother, Melania, couldn't be prouder. She often praises Barron's strength, intelligence, and kindness, emphasizing that he's not just the son of a famous politician. He's a person with his own dreams and ambitions. As Barron continues to grow, it's exciting to think about what the future holds for him. Will he follow his father's path into business or politics, or will he carve out his own unique journey? Whether he follows in his father's footsteps or carves out his own path, it's clear that Barron is a young man with a bright future ahead of him. And as Mark Levin hinted, there's more to Barron Trump than meets the eye. What do you think? What's next for this young Trump? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more shocking stories.